The power of relentless belief. There comes a moment in every life, a quiet second between breaths, when the world goes silent enough for you to finally hear the truth that's been calling your name since the day you were born. A moment when you realize that the limits you've been living inside weren't built by fate, or by destiny, or by circumstance, but by belief. Belief in what you can do, belief in what you deserve, belief in who you must become. And the moment you understand that belief is not a feeling, but a force, everything changes. Because belief is the seed of every empire ever built. It is the silent engine behind every revolution of the human spirit. It is the power that carried Edison through 10,000 failed experiments. It is the power that kept Lincoln standing after a lifetime of defeat. It is the power that pulled Disney out of bankruptcy and into a kingdom of imagination. And it is the power that has lifted ordinary men and women out of ordinary lives and turned them into legends. But belief is not soft. It is not gentle. It is not a wish whispered in the dark. Belief is a war you fight within yourself every day, every moment, every heartbeat. A war against doubt, a war against fear, a war against the quiet voice that tells you to settle, to wait, to shrink, to play small. A war you win not with luck, not with talent, but with relentless conviction. Relentless, because nothing great has ever bowed to half-hearted effort. Relentless because success is not an event, it is a consequence. And relentless because the world rewards the ones who refuse to give up on their own becoming. This is where your story begins. Not with talent, not with resources, not with opportunities, but with a decision. The decision to believe anyway. Even when you have no proof, even when you have no applause, even when nothing around you suggests that victory is near. This is the kind of belief that shapes destinies. Because the truth is simple. The world does not move for the hopeful. It moves for the determined. It moves for the person who wakes up before the excuses, the person who keeps going after the motivation fades, the person who plants their feet in the ground and whispers, "I am not done." And in that moment, you become unstoppable. There is a rhythm to the rise of every great person, a pattern woven through time, hidden behind the achievements in the headlines. It is the rhythm of mindset, the quiet architecture of success. Every achievement is built twice, once in the mind and once in the world. But the world only reflects what the mind relentlessly believes. Look at Henry Ford, a man told he was impossible. Look at Carnegie, a poor immigrant who rewrote his own destiny. Look at Jack Ma, rejected from jobs, denied from opportunities, laughed at for his visions, yet fueled by a belief so stubborn, so unbreakable, that failure itself surrendered. What did they understand that the world didn't? They understood that belief is not about the world confirming your value. Belief is about you declaring your value before the world understands it. They understood that the human mind is a machine of miracles, capable of creating the impossible when directed with clarity and conviction. But clarity does not come from wishing. It comes from deciding. Deciding who you are. Deciding what you want. Deciding what you will no longer tolerate. Clarity is the compass. Belief is the fuel. And together, they ignite the kind of fire that cannot be extinguished. Some people wait for permission. Some people wait for inspiration. Some people wait for the right time. But there is no right time. There is only now, and the person willing to step into it. Every second wasted in hesitation is a second stolen from your own potential. Every moment spent doubting is a moment you could have been spent building. Success belongs to the ones who act while others wait, who move while others think, who begin long before they feel ready. Because readiness is a myth. You do not become ready before the journey. You become ready because of the journey. Relentless belief does not require the full path to be visible. It only requires the next step. And that next step, repeated enough times, becomes a mountain moved. But belief is not just a mindset. It is a discipline. A discipline to rise when comfort calls you back to bed. A discipline to stay focused when distractions beg for your attention. A discipline to pursue excellence even when the world doesn't notice. A discipline to create habits that align with your vision, not with your feelings. Your feelings will betray you. Your habits will build you. This is why discipline is the true companion of belief. Because belief without discipline is daydreaming. Discipline without belief is exhaustion. But together, they become unstoppable momentum. Momentum that turns effort into results. Momentum that turns dreams into plans. Momentum that turns identity into destiny. This is how Edison persisted after thousands of failures. How Lincoln rebuilt himself after defeat after defeat. How modern entrepreneurs, from Jobs to Ma, pushed through ridicule, skepticism, and years of obscurity, armed only with the vision the world could not yet see. Their secret? They believed with discipline. They acted with clarity. And they refused to negotiate with excuses. But every journey, no matter how powerful, meets resistance. Doubt is the shadow that follows every dream. Fear is the whisper that visits every visionary. Failure is the test that confronts every achiever. And your job is not to avoid these things. Your job is to master them. Because the strength of your belief is revealed not on your best days, but on your worst. Not when things are smooth, but when everything falls apart. Not when you feel confident, but when you feel empty. Resilience is the crown worn only by those who continue anyway. Think of Walt Disney, fired for lacking imagination, bankrupt, rejected, underestimated. And yet, imagine how many millions of children would have grown up without magic if he had stopped believing the first time the world said no. Imagine if Ford had given up after being told his ideas were foolish. Imagine if Carnegie had surrendered to poverty. Imagine if Jack Ma had accepted the rejections as truth. The world we live in today, the jobs we work in, the tools we use, the stories we admire, would not exist without the resilience of relentless believers. This is your reminder. You are not behind. You are not too late. You are not too broken. You are in the middle of becoming. And becoming is a messy, painful, necessary process. When your belief is tested, strengthen it. When your path grows dark, keep walking. When fear rises, rise higher. Because the person you become after surviving your lowest moment, that person can survive anything. Gratitude is the hidden weapon of the relentless. Not gratitude for convenience, but gratitude as awareness. Awareness of how far you've already come. Awareness of how many storms you've already survived. Awareness of how much strength you already possess. Gratitude turns struggle into fuel. It turns setbacks into lessons. It turns scarcity into focus. People think gratitude is soft. They are wrong. Gratitude is strategic. It positions your mind in power, not panic. It keeps you grounded while you climb. It keeps you humble enough to grow, but hungry enough to soar. And when belief meets gratitude, ego disappears. Confidence rises, and clarity sharpens. Suddenly, you stop running from storms, you walk into them with purpose. Because storms don't weaken relentless people, they reveal them. Adaptability is the next pillar. The world is changing faster than ever. Technology rises, markets shift, opportunities transform, and the ones who thrive aren't always the strongest, but the most adaptable. Look at every industry leader today. They reinvented themselves repeatedly. They pivoted, adjusted, evolved, reshaped their thinking. They did not cling to how things should be. They focused on how things could be. Relentless belief does not mean stubbornness. It means flexibility with direction, but consistency with purpose. Your path may change. Your purpose does not. Your methods may shift. Your mission does not. Your plans may fail, but you do not. Adaptability is the art of staying committed to your destination, even when the route must be rewritten. And this is what separates the average from the exceptional. Learning, the quiet giant of success. Every great person is a student long before they become a master. The ones who stop learning, stop rising. Henry Hill spent decades interviewing the most successful people of his era, and every one of them, every single one, shared the same trait, an insatiable hunger to learn. Learn from books, learn from mentors, learn from failures, learn from people who disagree with you, learn from people who are where you want to be. The person you will be 10 years from now is shaped by the books you read, the information you absorb, the habits you build, and the standards you refuse to compromise. Knowledge is leverage, wisdom is strategy, learning is evolution, and relentless believers evolve endlessly. Now comes the climax of every transformation: action. Without action,